Oh, it mean no.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable nominee, congratulations. I know you did very well for the country. Thank you, Deputy Minister, for the amount of experience. But honorable nominee, I'd like to just that your answers here carry a lot of weight. The investor community, both local and international, are watching and listening to every statement that is made here today. So just want to, I know that be mindful of no pressure. My first question, Mr. Chairman.
Well, honorable members, when you are asked to ask a question, proceed to ask the question and let's limit the commentaries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted to congratulate you.
Wait. Please put off your chairman. Chairman, with the greatest respect. Chairman, it's not just a guy. The member is a human. We have all practiced at the bar. We know what some of these things do to a person on his or her feet. I beg of you one more time. We are here to cooperate with you. Let's be tolerant. You've been in the minority before. You know what it is. Because it's betting all the majority, minority. You know that the work itself is being done by the minority. So please allow members to flow. What it is. I beg of you. I want us to have a very decent engagement and be stable in all we're doing. Thank you.
Chairman, thank you very much. I think the finance minister's position, like Rob rightly said, is very, very important. We know what the leader is made of. Sometimes some foundation to be made to guide the finance minister's answers. But what she said is the investor community, both locally and internationally, watching and listening. And these are very important partners in our growth and progress. So if she said as a question that the investor community, please give it up. say some foundation. The question, it doesn't hurt anybody. Thank you.
It was okay. Thank you.
Chairman, I just want to appeal to all colleagues, especially the respected minority. Been around this table and I saw when Honorable Forces was the rank and Honorable Joe White was the chair. What I saw was I didn't see Honorable Forces trying to be co-chair. At the moment, so far, people watching might think you are a co-chair. So I'm just appealing to your role is very important. Without a doubt, it's very important. So for the viewing public, just believe that the two of you would manage the interaction between the two of you does not appear as if there's a struggle for power. So I don't have much to say that we have started well, but if possible, let there be one chair which we all defend.
Honourable members,
To make amendment. Chairman, also with the greatest respect to you, in all humility, please, this situation where you are more or less directing the member, please, I will not co-chair with you. I know my position. I'm the wrong. I'm pleading with you too. You and I are practitioners and we know what some of these comments mean. So please allow the member to put her thought together. She's a new member, her first time in this exercise. She's a woman. Let us allow her to build her confidence. Let us allow her to flow. Let us allow her to lay the necessary foundation upon which the question will be mounted, so that the people watching and listening will appreciate, so that the member, the nominee himself, will also appreciate the question. So I am pleading with you. I would not co-chair with you. I have cooperated with you thus far. I will not stand in your way. We are in this together. But please tolerate the views we express, and we'll do so in utmost respect to you. Please. Thank you very much.
please proceed to ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable nominee, you're on record, I think on January 9th, was reported by Reuters, that you're going to request additional financing from the IMF. What proposal do you intend to present to the IMF?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, inaccurate reportage. I did not say I am going to request for additional financing from the IMF. Inaccurate. What I said was we could request for additional finances if the need arises. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next question.
My second question, honorable nominee, is Ghana, like many other countries, depends on taxation as one of the major sources of revenue to fund development. As a matter of fact, one of the conditions of the IMF, the current arrangement with the IMF, is to enhance local revenue mobilization. The NDC party promised Ghanaians to scrap a number of taxes. So how do you intend, if you're given the nod as the Minister of Finance, to bridge the revenue gap?
Honorable nominee, the floor is yours.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. And Mr. Chairman, let me say this is an excellent question. Mr. Chairman, Ghana currently collects approximately 13.8% of GDP in terms of tax revenue, according to the latest data I've cited as part of the transition. It is obvious that we can do better. I've studied the Ghana economy for some time, and I can say without mentioning a word that Ghana has huge potential when it comes to tax revenue mobilization. You don't necessarily have to increase taxes before you rake in revenue. We have the handles. What we need to do is to improve compliance. I will work with the JRA, the Tax Policy Unit of the Ministry of Finance, to ensure that we increase compliance and to raise the revenue as much as we can. In the medium term, it is my vision, when approved, to increase the revenue from 13.8, tax revenue from 13.8% of GDP to about 16 to 18%. That will be able to compare ourselves to our peers. I believe the potentials are out there. It doesn't necessarily mean we should increase taxes. Yes, we have obviously announced that we are going to scrap certain taxes. We'll stick to just that. But it doesn't also mean that we don't care about the revenue. We care about the revenue. And we will have to do more on revenue. But it doesn't necessarily mean we should increase taxes. Some of the taxes out there are not bringing in the revenue that it should. For example, the betting tax is bringing in less than 50 million Ghana cedis a year. It's a nuisance tax. Scrapping 50 million Ghana cedis will not mean anything in a way that will affect the economy if you are to adjust, particularly from the expenditure side. I mean, the noise with the betting tax and all does not comprehend the imposition of such a tax. And so I believe that scrapping such a tax will not necessarily affect the forward march of the Ghanaian economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your last question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Historically, there have been a lot of macroeconomic policy focus on inflation and exchange rates. Yet the AGI and others in the private sector still complain of high interest rates affecting their businesses. So what are you going to do, given a nod, differently? What are you going to do differently to ensure that our macroeconomic policies are more effective in lowering interest rates for the private sector? Thank you.
Thank you. I think government has a key role to play in this, particularly the fiscal authorities. I say this because if the country is actively in the market, borrowing every week. I mean, if you look at the T-bill market today, every single week we roll over 111 billion Ghana cedis. And if you were to roll over 111 billion Ghana cedis week in, week out, the exchange rate, the interest rate will certainly go up. And you should also understand that interest rate sometimes is a function of inflation. And that is why personally, I believe there's the need for us to immediately work to bring inflation down. And then also work in such a way that we can stabilize inflation, stabilize the exchange rate, and create jobs. Until we do such a thing, certainly the concerns you've raised will still be there. And there's a lot of work we have to do. It starts from the fiscal authorities. We need to cut expenditure. The time is now. We have to cut the waste. And if you cut the waste, certainly you'll be able to you will not be able to, you will certainly go to the market in a careful way that you will not be borrowing as much as you are borrowing today. And that in itself, you won't crowd out the private sector and you will be bringing down the inflation in a way that interest rate will come down. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Minority Leader, the ranking member, has one follow-up question.
Chairman, thank you very much. Leader, you said in a response to respected colleague's question about tax revenue, that as a nation, we don't need to necessarily raise revenue through taxes. I mean, that's then clarified so that I can lay the proper foundation, please.
Mr. Chairman, I did not say that.
Just want you to clarify the point there.
I said you don't necessarily have to raise tax revenue by increasing the tax rate. It doesn't make sense.
So, how do you juxtapose that within the context of your previous position in respect of incentives to the private sector? We've had a private sector policy by the previous government where the whole intent was to free the space for the private sector so that they can invest more, so that they can employ more. You held a position strongly against that incentive, that taxes be necessarily imposed on raw materials that are imported for manufacturing purposes in the country, on equipment that are imported for manufacturing in the country, and all others. How do you juxtapose that?
Mr. Chairman, my position.
Honorable Mama Yarga is on point of order.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, the nominee did not say that taxes should not be imposed on raw materials. The issue was whether or not taxes already imposed should be received or exempted by this House. So let's communicate accurately.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ayalga. The nominee is capable of answering the question, so proceed to answer the question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, my position on tax exemptions are well known. I do not intend to hide from that, and I won't hide from that. Mr. Chairman, tax exemption is gradually becoming a major source of tax expenditure in fiscal framework. Unfortunately, it's not properly targeted, so we see a situation where we exempt foreigners from taxes, in particular companies. At the same time, because we are exempting those taxes, we end up increasing these tax rates for so many other people to pay. I believe everyone is pay taxes. My concern, particularly with the one that you sure has to be it is not transparent enough. I do not believe that certain individuals privileged enough to get tax exemptions, whilst others doing the same, should not be given opportunity to get tax exemption. And I have contended in the past that if the government insists on tax exemption for one people, they should make it a law and allow everyone else to benefit from such tax exemption. My main concern, particularly my concern,
Thank you very much. Your last follow.
Chairman, thank you. Leader, I'm making this point as a result of what you just said. Yes, you complain of the lack of transparency. But for the records, an Honorable Yabuama is here. He chaired the committee. You will recall that as a result of those concerns, government at the time was able to meet those concerns to the extent that there was even a waiver on one item, raw materials. In fact, let me say not waiver, the raw materials component was taken out of the whole exemption. And through scrutiny, the request was very much reduced. Would you say that it was purely political? Because those concerns were addressed. But you still said,
Mr. Chairman, I have no evidence. I have no evidence in the sense that one, when these taxes were introduced, tax exemptions were introduced to us in this house, initially we were called upon to exempt $458 million. Upon my insistence, the Minister of Finance went back to work together with the Minister of Trade and brought it to stage of say and save the nation was $358 million. Obviously, because of my insistence. I still felt the need to pay for it. And that 100 million is still seeing things that are going to disappear. I have no regrets. I take that huge money from Ghana because clearly it wasn't right for us to judge on those tax exemptions. I wasn't one of the colleagues from the finance committee and together we fought it. And obviously I did not judge on myself. Let me also use this platform to pay tribute to one of the because he agreed that these taxes were certainly not right. We are working for Ghana. And if we can save 558 million, look at Accra Kumasi, we use that money to fix the problems. I think it wasn't necessary for us to pay the tax. It's not personal, it's not political, but we did it. The right intention, obviously for
Thank you very much. It's now the turn of Honorable Foko Tukua.
Honorable Persil Atoban Fosu, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Nominated as Minister Designate.
Thank you very much. Next question.
Mr. Secretary, my second question, already given, I think, relates to tax exemption. Particularly, what I want to hear from you, or what I would expect you to tell this committee, is that the Exemptions Act of 2022, Act 1083, allows the state to take equity stake in entities that apply for tax exemption. This has never been done. So the act bold enough apply this aspect of the act for entities that come for tax exemption ready to be for equity stake. Chairman, Adams. What? I said while to implement the tax exemption, particularly the portion that allows government of Ghana to take equity stake. So we've done once, and as a champion against tax exemptions, and, someone who insists that tax exemption must also count, we can be accountable. That I will do whatever it takes that when push comes to shove, then we have to grant tax exemption. The country must benefit. Right. Thank you. So everyone has heard what. My third question. You know, it is commonly known that we generate really nothing much from the informal segment when it comes to taxes. And if you look at the mid-year budget of 2024, you look at page 107, you realize that tax from PAYE, you look at the revised budget, it's about 21.113 billion cedis. Whereas taxes from self-employed for the same period is about 1.572 billion cedis. So this is a ratio of 13 to 1. So the formal sector, PAYE, revenue from those taxes, is 13 times what we get from all the self-employed. So the gap is so big. What would you do practically to close this gap? A gap of 13 to 1. What would you do practically? I think that's a general answer. First, we need to formalize the informal sector. Second, we need to encourage them to formally register. And third, we need to incentivize. You can learn from Uganda. Uganda has been able to incentivize the informal sector. And as such, they are collecting more taxes from the informal sector than most of sub-Saharan African countries. The question is, what are they doing? What Uganda did was to agree through tax education that a percentage of whatever you pay is as your pension contribution. And so my proposal is, why can't we encourage through tax education, encourage the informal sector by instituting an informal sector pension scheme where you plow back, let's say 30%. It doesn't mean 30%, let's say 30%. But whatever you pay, it's your contribution from the income tax as your contribution to your formalize the reform and to incentivize them. The options are there. Looking for advice, send when you say when I go response that to allow them for themselves also to contribute.
Thank you very much. I will then move to the majority side to take questions from the leaders of the Finance Committee. Starting from Honorable Azika Dongo.
Thank you very much, Chairman. As I want to congratulate you, Honorable colleague, with whom I have worked closely over the years. And also to thank His Excellency for the privilege thoroughbred express from this house, who was involved with oversight for 6 years, practice in government 5 plus 4 years. When I was invited, I asked myself, what because we have always been on this side, the prayer solution. I've been in conversations on the way.
Honorable Azika,
All I can say here
this
is
is a
that
commentary and go straight to the
I believe that my colleagues are better place, because I know your colleagues. So I have nothing to ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Adongo. It's not the turn of Richard Achampong.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Leader, congratulations. I've worked with this since 2008, so I know what you stand for. So, Mr. Chairman, I have only one question for you. Mr. Nominee, how do you plan to approach the country challenge and ensure debt is not? Thank you very much.
Honorable Nominee, your answer.
Chairman. Ghana's development has been a major cause for itself. It is sad to know that the country has gone through very difficult debt exchange domestic. It's also sad to note that we had to restructure our reports. In order to not to repeat the past mistakes, we intend to establish an independent debt management office. But in the meantime, we have a major harm that we have to deal with. For example, on the 18th of February, about 6.8 billion Ghana cedis will be due from government. It is our responsibility to make sure. And the Ministry of Finance, I believe, at this time, are prepared to make the payment. My responsibility is to make sure what has happened in the past does not repeat. And so I will do just that. I will work with the Ministry of Finance. I will work with our government partners. I will do whatever it takes to avoid the second wave of the crisis we faced in 2022. That's the issue.
Thank you very much. Any further question? In the absence of any further question, now the turn of Honorable Agnes Damu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for giving me the opportunity to demonstrate. I will begin by congratulating the Honorable Leader for this high office being nominated to. I would want to find out from the Honorable Nominee his general vision for revenue mobilization. We've had big services, and it's exciting to hear what your vision is. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I worked under another secretary for 4 years. I'm still practicing finance. I learned under him that they used to meet the revenue activities once every 4 months. As a result, we saw our revenue. What I can say is that learning from your novel set and seeing what the way our revenue increase in the shortest possible time. I'll go by the same approach. But aside that, I will dedicate a considerable amount of my time towards revenue mobilization. Ministers of Finance often have not paid enough attention to revenue mobilization. I think we should not allow GRA alone to mobilize the revenue. The Ministers of Finance will have a role to play, and I'll play such a role. As I said, I will dedicate a considerable amount of my attention towards revenue mobilization to help you.
Thank you very much. Next question.
I only want to wish them.
Thank you. Members, now the turn of Honorable Ona Ose Asai to pose a question to the member. You have the floor.
Thank you very much. I see you smiling because I've been in your shoes before. And less than a year ago, I was sitting here and you were sitting there firing questions at me. But I want to use this opportunity to congratulate you. I think you have worked very hard. You put us on our toes when we were in government. And I hope to do the same constructively moving forward. So I wish you well. Just one or two questions, and that will be it because you are now moving there. You've been there before, you were there as a deputy minister. You are now going as the supreme, the finance minister yourself. And I know that a lot of decisions will rest or come from you. I remember that in 2023, during the budget, you mentioned the fact that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama would inherit a very difficult economy. This is in the Parliamentary Hazard on November 21st, 2023. That's what we did. But at the end of 2024, and during the transition, we shared some economic data with you. You agree with me that we exceeded revenue? Same GRA exceeded revenue. 400 million was 178 billion. So yes, they exceeded by 400 billion Ghana cedis. The economy grew from 2.9% in 2023 to first half of the year to 5.8% in 2024. We managed to tame inflation down to 23.2% from 23.8% in December. The banking sector assets have also increased from 274 billion in 2023 to 376 billion in 2024. The private sector credit increased by 28.8% from a negative of 7.5% in the same period last year. The primary balance has increased from a deficit to a surplus, and we've given a reserve of 7.7 billion, representing 3.5 months of imports compared to 3.7 months of imports around 5.9 billion in 2023. And also talked about the debt restructuring. We also do outbound just the private sector, the private bank, and here we go. Way back my first. So I get something.
Transition of process, which is presenting with the transition of 9th to about 1st of December 2008. Chairman, I had heard talk about it, but revenue alone will not give you a picture of the fiscal deficit. expenditure. Once you are capital 30 first, we saw them. So 18 billion cities as against the 400 that you pay. That's a deficit. And so let's wait for him to this. I don't want to speculate. Wait for him to this. Then I'll present straight. Chairman, I want to beg for him. Wait before I make them statement. When the time comes, present the true picture of the economy. I don't want to speculate at this point. Let's wait for context. The budget will be ready so that we don't do this program to create speculation and to add first. So whatever we say here today, whatever.
Honorable nominee, you know the rules. What is the meaning of second payday?
Chairman,
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes,
Mr.
you may
Chairman.
proceed with your next question.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'm glad my friend has confirmed this, because in November 2023, the numbers presented were also provisional, yet he was able to make a declaration. And so in November 20, all that he said was speculation, which was just to us that we will not speculate, we rather we will answer. But in November 20, the numbers based on which Your Excellency. That's as it's going to be the same, and it's the monthly salary. Then, one thing is that like this. And
Yes.
capacity.
Here are 5 reasons why I love using cream fabric gum. They have
once again and doing so, what to come out that will on the one side, I don't believe that on the market side. So we need to faster. How do you not just and signal that you have signaled the way that an expenditure was strong from time so that together send a strong signal, particularly today, very difficult for us to go back then, domestic one. For us to go back then, your future, your credit rating, inflation. Inflation today is 3.8, the highest in the last 8 months. You consider inflation is inching up by the day. Why has inflation become so stubborn? That is a question we need to ask. What do we have to do? We have to start with the fiscal authorities. And we will start. And we know exactly what we have to do. I need your nod. I need your support. And together, we have a responsibility to do what it takes to fix the economy for the benefit of all of us, particularly the ordinary Ghanaian out there who's struggling. So I'm open, very open for ideas and to listen to you, not only you, but to the private sector and the entire market, to do whatever you have to do. I'm a very lucky man. I come to this job apart from my personal experience, but I worked under an astute finance minister, I don't know who said, who's like a father to me. I'll reach out anytime, and there are a lot of people. And I don't know what I say. Sister, I know who I made the former past minister. So let's see, whatever it takes, you do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will now give the floor to Honorable Woman.
Thank you, Chairman, for giving me this opportunity. It's a nominee and leader. Congratulations. I have a question on public debt. And I'll base it on the mid-year review, 2024 mid-year policy review. Paragraph 51 stated that the public debt of Ghana is 742 billion cedis. As of today, huge debt. I want to ask, how do you plan to manage this huge debt? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, I know it's a matter of concern to most of us. We will manage the public debt. I know it's a matter of concern to most of us. But I can assure you, we'll be spent. Do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to clear the harms that has been created as a result of the debt. For example, we have looked at the domestic maturities carefully, and you can see, it's a result of the debt that as a result of the debt restructuring, 2025, this 2025, we have to pay off. We have to pay off debt amortization, debt repayment, 4.6 billion Ghana cedis. 4.6 billion Ghana cedis. Domestic 2026, you have to repay another 15.7 billion.
15.7 billion dollars.
2027.
2027, you have to pay 53 billion for 2020. So you could see the harms that have been created. It's frightening and worrying.
You have similar harms that
You have similar harms that has been created.
Eurobond side.
The Eurobond side, billions of dollars this year already. We paid about 364 billion dollars, and others that are coming up.
From next year, you'll be
From
compelled
next year, you'll be compelled to pay every year
billion
$1 billion US dollars from the Eurobond.
on the bilateral official
From the bilateral official creditors, because because they've not signed the MOU at all.
I recognize the challenges that we
I recognize
Not familiar. What I can say is that each agent will go back to the club, just finance and those buffers. Currently, we do not have this paper to take off on the particularly estimates buffers. We have to learn from this. We have to learn. Noble September was taught how to do this. And this famous when Noble September have the need to save during times mistake eventualities of different will it save to the extent that when we're living with us, there was enough will it save. But let's say that for the income administration to bring anywhere but sharing with the district. Today, it is obvious sharing office from the business, for instance. On the domestic side, it is obvious. I don't know if you are far. But nevertheless, as I'm saying on this side, we will manage this. His Excellency, the former president, just started the musician person that he would not expect the income finance. His Excellency, the former president, I want to use this to assure yeah, very much. It's not that it's worrying. For example, we need to always every week in, week out, go to the TV market and all financing 100 billion deficits. Always every week in, week out. 91 days, you have to refinance 51.6. 182 days, you have to refinance 24.6 billion. 364 days, you have to refinance 34.9 billion. So together, we are talking of 100 billion deficits. Or probably together, we are talking aside these domestic payments. But we implement an effective debt management and establish an independent debt management. I think I said and this independent debt management is just independent and going forward past mistakes. I think that is I think we don't have to dwell too much past things. We have a country to have citizens. And so focus.
Thank you very much. Any more questions? Honorable members, against round news. About very much expression as the chairman of the committee. Honorable members, welcome a question from Sami, our first friend to the committee, the chairman of the committee.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Chairman, I would like to
Sami,
if then I can my substance. And congratulations, honorable nominee. No, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman. We had an understanding.
No.
The leader of the minority made a valid point to allow a question from a non-member of the minority against the existing protocol. The chairman agreed for the person to answer to ask the question. It is not against the chairman agreed for that person to now say you want to ask a follow-up question before the substantive question. Appropriate for that person to now say a follow-up question before the substantive question.
He's allowed. Honorable Samuel, you do exactly the same.
That he's allowed.
Honorable Samuel, you do exactly the same.
Chairman,
The chairman basically have.
today is Monday. Over and over again. Today is our last colleagues of over and over. I am pleading with all of you. No attempt should be to intimidate my members, especially the new ones. Honorable Kwame Govins, my members, especially who are experiencing. Honorable, what you just did, Kwame knew the effects of what you just did. When I beat you guys a bit, then you all crying up. You do that to my members. I've been calm to you guys. Then you all crying. You try to take the ball from the chair, and when I'm reacting, you feel like a soldier. Don't let us do that. We have started and
When I try to take the power from the chair, and then when that you say,
so
something like
your side,
don't let us go down. We have started a good morning.
and we understand.
Tolerate us,
Scrutiny would largely be done by the minority,
and we understand you are in government. Scrutiny would largely be done by the minority and opposition.
there's no
So please,
let me finish.
in all humility, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I need to finish.
Mr. Chairman, I need to finish.
I allowed honorable
Point of office and for just to finish that point of even when I have the point of order, I allow you to
conference. I could just
the form of this game is tolerant.
and if when
You are in government and you act as though you are
would have it, would have it. If your style would be to attacking me, you would have it.
You have it.
Have it.
You have it.
Your style would be to be attacked.
You think that you are telling our side. You asking very big question. I'm on my Chairman, you know you never gave you say that the Chairman, you never gave your advice from the floor. Chairman, you never gave Chairman, you never making friend of this between you and question.
If you think that you are still
Friend, you don't have the floor. It's fine. You don't have the floor.
honorable floor, you don't have the floor. You don't have the floor.
Chairman, I would accord every member of this committee and our side will continue to treat all of us here with utmost respect.
Chairman,
Colleagues, I'm compelled to make this point. We are here in good faith. The minority has cooperated with chairman for us to get here in good faith. The letter brought to us in parliament, an advert was done. We cooperated for the advert to be placed in the paper same day. We were supposed to start this meeting tomorrow. Chairman reached out to me regarding some exchanges
in parliament,
I convinced my side
adverts
that
was
there is
done.
a need for
We
it to
cooperated for
to
that
proceed
meeting
to
tomorrow.
it comes. The president
Exigencies.
So let us not
I convinced my side that there is a need for the legal.
asking me leader, why are you changing from Tuesday to Monday? I am here.
You don't have communications asking me leader. Why are you changing from Tuesday to Monday? I am here
of attacking on
to do the people's work with my team. this posture of I will not take it. Colleagues, Chairman, with the greatest respect, had to receive interjection of order. When go and watch Bradley, let's watch parliamentary. His opening remarks, guys. I don't want situation where watch Bradley. Let's watch parliamentary. Guys, I don't want a situation where it be like market wants to do this and that. I understand governance. I know governance, and I will support you to form your government. I know nobody should make an attempt to use some attacks to frustrate. It won't work. And we are not going to wipe out proceedings. As Honorable for Ben Sakuya once said on the floor, even the paper, for you to see that there will be chaos. We know what he did to my vice chair. No, back. I will never do that. I'm not pissed. I know what they did to this 67-year-old woman who was then the chair of the appointment committee, our mother. We know what happened. The cameras watching. So, colleagues, you are not in our point. Your duty is tolerance. Tolerance. If you don't want to tolerate us and you don't want to accommodate and you are talking about rules, then we'll also go by the rules. Straight. I would end here. Chairman, thank you. And
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Minority Leader. The presidents are there. We all know that Honorable Joseph Osei, sitting as the chairman of the appointment committee, will never welcome a question from a non-member of the committee. I am using my discretion to allow a non-member to ask a question. I am asking you to ask a question, and to ask a question does not give you room to ask supplementary questions before the main question. It's an appeal for the opportunity being given to you. May you proceed and ask your question. I am asking you.
Mr. Chairman,
Chairman,
wait. No, please. Wait, Chairman, with the greatest respect. With the greatest respect. I know you are an advocate. You do a lot of press examination. You cannot raise your voice on a member. It's the first time when he makes a mistake. Let's correct him in a manner that would encourage him to enjoy back. He's a few member. Please, with the greatest respect, I know it was not your intention. But knowing you when you get your client in a time corner, how you deal with them, I beg you this on your face. So, Mr. Chairman,
ask your question.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. But first of all, I did not even make a mistake in the first place. Just for the record, I did see.
Go ahead and ask the question.
Can I proceed my substantive? That's all, Mr. Chairman. And thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for the clarity. And now, Honorable Nominee, I would like to refer you to a publication on the 15th of March 2021. And I want to paraphrase because I don't want to miss anywhere. And Ghana today, they are complaining that this campaign is destroying our youth. I've read a number of articles on this, but I've thought that the government will come up with a policy to restrict gambling and to even ban it, he said. And this was a quotation attributed to you, Honorable Nominee. I want to ask and proceed on this. Do you still stand by this decision of banning gambling and banning betting and all that in its entirety, or now your position has changed? That's what I wanted to ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. To clarify. Chairman, I was on a show with the Honorable when the contest was coming. The Honorable Udo, at the time, Minister of Information, sure, had the responsibility to sell a government office. He said, I'm surprised you are not making that. He said that betting tax being implemented because it is destroying our youth.
and that the government is introducing this vetting tax to. No, he said the government is introducing this vetting tax to deter them equivalent to a sentence, so that they are not mistaken the vet. I retorted on a show hosted by Evans John FDMC. I retorted by saying that would not solve the problem. That would not solve the problem because I've read a number of articles, and the article presupposes or suggests that it is destroying capacity. And so, if you want to introduce a tax, you have to first look at the elasticity and as to whether the elasticity is okay at imposing such a tax when there is that will not stop anything.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. We don't do that in Parliament. We say here. The next person is Honorable.
Somebody else. Right. Well, we're not going to ask the question. She started even before I answered the question. Congratulations. One question was asked. How prepared you are to multiple challenges. After listening, then you speak.
No, he said the government is
Wise, back in my question.
they should
Before I say readiness
that will not solve the problem because
from
there's number of articles.
greater expertise next.
Destroying.
And so I have a question. What is the
Whether
brother? Now, very important.
Member.
Will you abolish?
Yes. Chapter of opposition. Chairman, either we Snyder I don't know how. Chairman, it doesn't mean that it's the fact is, I don't need everything that there's speech. Why the next name is
I think about my body.
It's not like that. It's not like that. Sure.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mama. And minority leader and the ranking member wants to do a follow up on the question relating to abolishing.
Thank you, Chair. My respected colleague and leader tells us that he's aware that with abolishing the union, how does he make up for it?
Thank you very much. Your answer to the question, please.
Chairman, shouldn't always be ready. No, I will. Think you have a choice of both. Remove the EBB and replace it, or remove the EBB and replace it at corresponding expenditure. Options on the table. As a minister, I will obviously consider the EBB holistically. My commitment to the church.
Thank you very much. He intimated he has a further supplementary question.
Chair, my respected colleague and leader has introduced an important find it very intelligent. Says that it's not always about expenditure. We are aware of several expenditure. These are largely social integration. It is saying that it's going to do away with some of the social integration to succeed? Or has he been able to identify a particular expenditure line to be able to deal with? But to say we are going to abolish it on good authority, we are not going to look for another source of revenue to replace it, but you're going to cut expenditure. So suggest that you've identified.
Chairman, the quality of expenditure. I've said, the record was said that as part of our short-term measures, the board implement a strong expenditure base for fiscal consolidation without hurting growth, the vulnerable communities, protecting social protection. Mr. Chairman, I'm a social democrat. My party is a social democrat. I stand by this. We will not be democracy. We will protect the vulnerable in society. Our expenditure cut will be done with where now I've said the quality of expenditure. It will matter in the sense that expenditure must drive. So if the expenditure is wasteful, it's not properly targeted, it's not achieving the desired outcome. So, guided. Remember, aside from professional meetings, I'm also a politician. Understand, understanding the dynamics of the political. I have monitored Ghanaian's economy for 20 years, 2 decades. I understand its clients, then I can assure you that whatever policy such a way
Thank you very much. The ranking member is really enjoying the answers to the question. We will now move on. Honorable Governor.
Honorable Person, you have been talking about cutting down expenditure. There are several times. Is the reduction in the number of ministers and the reduction in the number of existing ministries. Is that part of the measures being taken at the highest level? Cut down.
Said government approaches from 30 savings of 7 democratic agencies, 7 democratic agencies. Therefore, it is part of the so straight away you can see today the Ministry of Finance will have budget expenditure has as part of it 30 ministries. Immediately we have to get 20. So straight away, have percentage of 27 from this that you so understand that government policy otherwise sure in the next budget very fast.
My last
Thank you very much.
My last question. Do you have any doubts about any of our commitments, abolish any of the tax? We negate the competition, the circles of government. Is there any doubt in our mind? Any of the taxes that we said we abolish?
Thank you very much. I will take a question.
Thank you, Chairman. And congratulations, Honorable Doctor. But I am impressed with your responses so far, the clear indication that it helps reset. And I have a quick question. The previous government process of as you have committed to remove the levy, you consider to bring back social investment. And, what is your take on property collection as well? Because they attempted to centralize it and they reversed it. I mean, the previous government attempted centralization of property. They reversed it,
explanation that there were some challenges. Thank you very much for your question, Professor.
Do a show.
Who said it? So what do you intend? So what do you intend to do?
So I'm thinking maybe if I do it, and something like this, then
So when you are done, when you are done, when you have the content, is it?
I'll do myself. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. I will take a question from your
Ready. Web mail, have you been able to do?
I don't have access. I don't have access, so I'm not supposed to. We should be able to say, yeah, so.
Understood.
When am I getting my refund? You didn't give me this thing to sign.
That's Former Vice Chancellor. Honorable Dr. John Buck, who doesn't lie in your mouth, have the money to consider. Honorable Dr. I have a question. If someone thinks they have presentation, that or the question I want to consider
Press, yeah. Windows key. Put one on the Windows key and then press L. 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 Oh, book. Hmm? No, I guess on my screen. Can see my shirt.
yes. Revise the fit for 2018 system down. This is 6.3%. 6.3%. Whatever you know the next. I was searching for this. 2017, the numbers actually the same with numbers and it's up.
Mr. Chairman, I do
responsibility.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
I have a responsibility. When legacy. And I had a responsibility to defend our legacy. And in defending the legacy, I decided independence first. This is a Or later.
I think they're very intelligent too. After force and be very intelligent too. Ah, they're the guy that give them back to back.
So the 70.8% of us
Do we have to do anything like no? Quotes. Like quotes. Like this. Yeah, so we can be doing that. What am I saying?
Thank you very much, Honorable Nominee. You give them any. Bye. I'll move to the next. My point of order. Just utility of that consistent Ministry of Finance presented. What order are you carrying? Mr. Chairman, I have to put this on record that he's saying that consistently for 2 years, Ministry of Finance presented wrong data. You were a member of Parliament at that time. You were all members of Parliament at that time. And then he comes back to tell us that today it's 1 back 4 to that same Ministry of Finance to get chair. If the ministry, I don't think it is, I don't think this is how we should treat us. For one reason, how data that is contrary to what's presented. Definitely your explanation, definitely your reasons why it is so. But to say that consistently you presented wrong data to Parliament consistently for 2 years. Mr. Chairman, this is not. And like my neighbor in Itiwa West said, whatever we say here, the international investors are listening and watching, and to have repercussions on this economy. So let's manage what we say. We are not saying don't speak the truth.
Honorable,
consistent.
Honorable, I'm now sorry.
Wrong data.
Honorable,
I expect you to say
sorry.
Thank you very much.
I will not allow the nominee to answer that question. Second, for we please.
Honorable, have to do something about it because we were a member of Parliament at that time, and they are saying that we
Honorable
member of Parliament watched while wrong data was presented.
Honorable Patricia Obama, Honorable, I'm now sorry, you are out of order.
Mr. Chairman, respect.
Put your microphone off. Honorable Patricia Obama, thank
Yes, ma'am.
Honorable nominee, Radu Petio, said what think about that's a good question. Honorable articles, sorry, but I'm used to going here. You are someone who loves to then always engage. Yeah, I don't think so. But that's the point. Even from the just the report, the public debt as it stands now increases about 90% of the increase by external debt. The which is maybe right. Government revenue, public revenue, paying this debt or service for debt. The debt that they were reporting excludes from this debt. Revenue. By the end, when Ghana went into bond, had final hydro loan, had extra the public. So once again, that the public get back overseas. We in the NDC, the template provides a very excellent service. Fast forward, that's why the NDC merged established. So that we can report where people are exposed to avoid mistakes. External growth issues from general. Yes, as long as you go for another parents, when they see the appreciate psychological experiences, was person. But remember, social responsibility. It's not someone else's responsibility. And central bank, the bank, money to find way factor. But they should have so the behavior of the fiscal authorities will have some positive or negative consequences. And so together, when I'm doing this stuff, I will work for corporate that the sector for us to for the Ministry of Finance and so forth. That I strongly recommend quality finance done into the master plan system. Finance the inflation that we saw in the water system, the CD that we saw appreciating the level that you are talking about. So we need to work together.
Thank you, Minister. So, I know there are some cocoa farmers in and around the mountain and yeah. Marseille area, Western, they're all listening to you. And we want to go for you as it's a fine. Because under the previous administration, cocoa was from the Ministry of Finance to Ministry of Agriculture. People had issues with it. They want to know what the people going in. Whether that is going to increase as promised. The price of cocoa 6,000 as promised. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I have what I can say, is that my passion and I recognize from this book. As a result, that makes sense. Now, colleagues are willing, the colleagues are willing, they second it's faster because the brain when serious and no vital at the same time make up subsidize them carry them remember yes and it's part of course having agency
Thank you very much. So, that committee is chaired by so you have a voice, right from the right. Thank you very much.
you, it's now the turn of Honorable Reverend Wayne. Boss, the majority leader Honorable boss, working with, no doubt, you are cut for this job. You are a personality, telling you achieve results, and you are selfless, and you have your time. I believe with you, the chair, you will be able to drive on behalf of the president, the economic reset, but all that. Chair, I have an observation. I haven't served long enough on this committee, but I have this to say. This is the longest vetting of a leader since I entered parliament. Though my very good friend, the respected minority leader, made the point that there's a convention that leaders are vetted differently. And I was here when even the deputy majority whip at the time, Honorable Lydia Alassane, was vetted. That rule even applied to her as a deputy. We are approaching 3 hours of vetting. There's a perception that these things only apply when our colleague MPP are at the receiving end, i.e., when they need to benefit, these rules apply. And we on the NDC side follow through. Let me just be on the record that one day, if a leader gets vetted 3 hours, 4 hours, wouldn't be that, oh, that you have had to set. Let me go to another one. My very respected actually was not actually want to be a Christian. I do not talk but it's what I call the best. One of the important things about it, the that by one says that letter, that type of letter be signed by the president, vice president, or a minister basically led by the president. Dr. Kalisi signed that. I have here in my hand the letter and this letter communicates President Akufo-Addo and guess what? The person who signed this letter is not even a president. Somebody called so whilst I agree with you that yes, I guess so what I'm saying is that I agree with him that more than 65 one. This is nothing. Indeed, the executive secretary of the president has communicated to his house appointing people authority. Just for
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hello, Lloyd. Many happy returns. I'm good yourself, please.
Suppose cathedral project, which was a commitment of the former president to his God. As we speak, the $53 million have been paid. The result is a big hole, not far from it. We also know that the payment was made through the Ministry of Finance. My question to you is, having knowledge that the $53 million could have paid for 3 completed Agenda 111 meetings,
would have paid for 1,226 unit classroom block, would have paid for 1,050 chip compound, would have paid at least 299,000 teachers, and actually would have won 9,000 classes for a family. Will you promise that when you are approved by subsequently by the house, you would set up an investigation as to whether this payment was legitimate and if possible, so that we can buy the 9,000 classes for the family. Actually, build 1,050 compound and 1,106 unit traffic block. Hopefully, Adam will get some of those 6 unit traffic blocks. Will you make a commitment? Make sure that this $53 million, which many Ghanaians believe was for waste, it counts something budget for me. So, Chairman, thanks. For me, the beginning, the bit I was saying, so I think that's I would love to sense.
Thank you very much.
So the opportunity, Chairman, my expected problem made reference to the articulation in respect of second in which suggests that there's possibility that January 2020, specifically 1st of January 2020, the communities from the presidency signed by acting director of the communities, informing the speaker of some communities. That's the thing of the president. I hope beg small level. The letter referred to is rather less release, not a better teaching. And the small level is titled for the present before this the President of the Republic has submitted to Parliament for ground through the Speaker, Right Honorable Abbas, names of the following constitution. So, just record my respected I has never written on behalf of the President to President. This is a press release. President Akufo is hoping that Parliament is the vote so that it can assist the Secretary of the President. In fact, our colleague as an acting spokesperson for the President has actually also released a statement in respect of the that's it. So I'm saying that get them never wrote to Parliament. And that was not what I expected. I referred to the letter from the secretary. In any event, I relied on the secretary. So there was no service that this is
These are the point where you have a better point. Yes, I will get you a point. The model and such because I know that the president out on the number of Peter, the people of Adaptive have heard a lot about the debt of this country. We have heard you say sometimes if we were to share the debt, my auntie is would have to pay 20,000 Ghana as part of our debt. But so far, I've not heard you speak about, in your view, going through the transition. How much does this country owe now? What was it in 2016? And what is it now? And how much my auntie is supposed to pay? If we're asked to pay that money, everybody's supposed to pay. Thank you very much for your question. How much do we owe now? What was it in 2016? Go ahead. And we are best. Then as part of the budget, we can announce it. Maybe just let's get president here in the state of the Michigan West have to announce this. For now, I will urge that we wait until they finalize NDR numbers because the fiscal fits into the debt. So we'll be able to exactly what is back. I don't want to say something and change my position tomorrow. So I beg that you do that. Thank you. Honorable, it's not the turn of the deputy figure. Honorable Patricia. Should I treat it as a comment or a question to the nominee? Remember, since
For fast tracking your message today, supposed to be I don't we are even expecting them to be able to I like it. It's
talking in terms of dollars.
producer so you get the focus.
Chairman, without a doubt, the biggest advocate for the movement. I've done that for the last 8 years. So for the year out, I would achieve them. I will work to without a different recognizing recognizing that people sometimes people want to workers for years. My concern for this has been sometimes I've been very passionate about this production. I take the leadership. Within the families and the families. I've said that the ministry, the kind of working that is currently under the ministry of agriculture. It's not a ministry. Unless there's a policy change. Let me speak to what is before I say it is not like that. So I do not have total priority to our obviously, it's a mistake. Potential for the difference. But sure.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, nothing at the moment. Just like Lois was saying, when the document is ready, we can set the ball rolling. And then when we have the information and the details for the upcoming events and meetings, we can start working on something on that. I'm always available for our social media branding and then publicity works and all that. Yeah.
I said I've said that I will not change my position. I can't suddenly change.
Thank you very much. Another person, please.
Thank you very much. With the growing population of young people entering the workforce, which is your plan to address Right. And particularly by asking if you could outline any specific programs to support entrepreneurship, skills training, or expansion of industries that have high job creation potential. Thank you.
Any program supported that system?
Chairman, as a government, our job creation measures have been announced as part of our manifesto. As a minister, my responsibility is to mobilize the legal resources, consultation, and cabinet will have to allocate them effectively to the sectors that we think for them to
Oh, okay.
say.
Uh,
We've announced
I get skinky. I don't go picture.
I strongly believe
Ugly. Look sharp.
that Ghana has a huge potential.
If it's some kinky, you not go look sharp. Huh?
Same resources.
Say kinky. And I not go look. I get some ice kinky for this, so I not
I
go
think it's
picture.
enough for the jobs.
But look sharp. Somebody can write it. You will go there, they chop. Somebody can write this. You will go there, now they chop. You pass there. You pass there.
Set up a structure, train skills, give them access to qualified training, give them the tools for them to how funded some of the stuff will become in such a way that the skills that we lack as a country, train them in today, most of us want to get good artisans, to go to a neighborhood, but we have the need here. Why don't we do I think we need to I work in a sector of business. Resources in very subsidized in a way. It's not expensive. So we're able to have the resources to get and I will mobilize the resources and
Thank you very
Very much. Any further question?
Yes, very much interested. Concept of yes, yes. Right. I think that I was interested in your manifesto promise to set up the wood. Then tertiary education. Prior reduction in taxes. This fiscal consolidation and pride for the government. And then take it into government.
Honorable nominee.
Thank you. Chairman, fiscal consolidation is not really a priority, but we will front load it. We will front load it carefully. At the same time, we signal to the fiscal community and fiscal consolidation is not really a priority. And we front load it with at the same time, but so that's it's a priority. We have an option to rationalize this assessment. So someone comes switching. Rationalize. So it doesn't mean the flagship we finance as part of just give us not that is not it's applied to that way.
Thank you for your answer. Any more questions? Question or contribution?
A follow-up question to the statements made or the question
But time for it. So, take presented the budget. Then you say that in 27, then they are produced in 10 minutes.
Thank you very much. When you say those with the expectation are to state chair, that is exactly the honorable people who have made reference to that said that I was in government. I said this 2019. I said it at the time that the government published and it. I said it at the time that I, at the time I remember when I was in government, at point more essential into their final numbers. Chairman, I did not. I said what I was fact. In fact, subsequent data from the Ministry of Finance has confirmed that I was overly generous and that the fiscal data was even below what I had announced. I had announced 7.8 and that they had revised it downwards to 6.8. I did not. I did not. This was given to me. So, data of this face. Bring my contact. That's what I'm careful about. So, you have to debate data. Thank you very much. The question well answered. Thank you, question. We will now. Thank you very much. Honorable Dr. Gideon Buako, you are not even a member of the committee. So why are you raising your hand? It appears I'm overindulging you. Honorable Bua, your turn. Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, let me say that Chairman, the greatest chairman. I think that Chairman, I need to come like the chairman has recognized Chairman as changes. Honorable Minority Leader, I recognize Honorable Bua. Point of order. Let's do Chairman, let's deal with this. Thank you, Chairman. Honorable Chairman, let's have to respect the respect. Chairman, let's deal with this. Respect the chair. Chairman, let's deal with this. Respect the chair. That I have recognized. Chairman.
this extension of courtesies never happened under the former chairman of the appointment committee, Honorable Osei. It never happened. And have to make it clear that you are the only chairman that can allow anybody to speak. Honorable Afenema is the ranking member, but you have to give him the right to speak. Congratulations, Honorable P.C. Atufosi. I entered Parliament in 2009. You know that we are about 42 on our side, and then the other side also has it, but we're all together about 92. Today, after 16 years, well, we are only 4 left. That speaks volumes about the attrition of Parliament. I am very, very, very proud of you. So if I say I know you very well, I know you very well. Okay. You are a man of complete integrity, and you speak with data and facts. And I am very, very confident that that's exactly what you do. I'm very proud of your performance today. I think calm the nerves of the people down and give them the assurance that you are going to bring the finance ministry to success. So, my respected leader, I must also congratulate you on behalf of our colleague, who, as minority leader, will be remembered as the leader that in the last 2 years led the minority from 137 to 100. Congratulations. So I'll go straight to my question. Ghana's economy is grappling with serious challenges. I'm going to talk a lot about them. Inflation, high unemployment. So my question is, as the Minister of Finance, what are your top priorities to address these challenges?
You might not about to be. If you have somebody to now. John doesn't know.
My priority is low prices, stability, low prices, the inflation is
transplantation. I'm just talking said it to yes. Said it again, said it. Leave the body. Leave this infection. Leave this infection. From the physical state. From the physical state. Sort of sitting is must be from the preference.
Okay, okay. In case there's any the level. All right, good.
So that's what I can say. Everyone questions. They allow questions from down to down. Yes, deputy minority leader. Honorable deputy ranking and minority ranking member and minority leader.
do your best. And when it gets your turn, you'll be honored. Don't punch above your weight, else you get crushed. Having said this, I shall proceed with some few questions. In your earlier submission, you had said that you will not hurt the vulnerable. And if I quote you further, you also said that I am from a rural constituency. Therefore, I will champion policies that would benefit the poor. Currently, we have some social intervention programs running. One, free SHS, boarding, free, tuition, free, feeding, free. Would you sustain the free SHS program in its current form and shape, and even improve upon the quality? Thank you.
Thank you very much, nominee, your answer to the question. That you will sustain and improve on the president.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mr. Chairman, myself and the minority leader has a history. We plan to enter this chamber together. Fortunately, in his first attempt, he couldn't make it, and I made it. Mr. Chairman, he lost that primaries, and I won. And today, I'm 1 term older than him. Mr. Chairman, I'm his senior. He's older than me just 4 months, same year. We are 2 constituencies apart. We used to do private sector business even before we all entered here. And we've known ourselves growing up. Everyone knows the relationship between us.
Okay.
But working with him didn't stop me from doing my work. And it didn't stop him from also doing his work. And so, to add to colleagues, we may have relationships, but it should not stop you from doing your work. You should work for God and country. And you have to do it with the best of intention to help our country grow. We did just that. We've had a moment. We fought. We united ourselves. Today, the tables have turned. He's now the minority leader. Kwamna, learn from me and be good. Be good.
That's a good one.
Be good. Be good. Mr. Chairman, I want to say this. My party's position on free senior high school has been well articulated by His Excellency the President. We do not intend to cancel the free SHS. In fact, President Mahama has said that the free SHS has come to stay.
Did you get some? So what did you get me? You didn't get me anything.
Impact of school feeding program. My concern is that the amount you give today per child as the cost you pay to the caterer is not enough to pay to feed the child well. In fact, it is not enough even to buy egg. That's what it is. It's not enough to buy egg. And so we will not only sustain it, but we'll make it better. We will make it better. Because as I've said, our policies will be designed in such a way that those strong will preserve growth and protect the vulnerable. And the vulnerable is what we are talking about. Remember, the school feeding is not in Achimota. It's not in Achimota school. It's somewhere in the village. And for them, this 1 square mil or twice is enough.
Right.
So,
Chairman, just for clarity and for the records, the caterers out there listening to you should take it that the current amount being paid to them is going to increase once you take over. With that assurance, what percentage should they expect? 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%? Because you say that the amount being paid is woefully inadequate. You didn't just say inadequate, you say woefully inadequate. So please let the caterers know, as the holder of the purse, the percentage you are going to increase their costs.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you very much. But
Chairman,
before you provide your answer,
the minority leader is putting words in my mouth.
yes, but before you provide your answer, can you state how much is it now? Well,
Mr. Chairman, I never said we are going to increase. I never used that word. I said that we will sustain it and improve on it, and made reference to the amount we pay and said it's not enough, because I've heard the caterers complain. So, Chairman, this is a house of records. Whatever we say here goes into the Hansard. I never said that. And so, Mr. Chairman,
thank you very much.
You don't just increase. You need to engage the sector. And so it will be difficult for me to sit here and just announce. I don't work like that, arbitrary. What is the basis of just announcing 20%? I don't work like that. I'm a careful person. So I cannot announce things that I don't know.
Chairman, the honorable nominee said that he is aware that the caterers have been complaining. That is a fact that is coming from him. 2, he says that they are not being paid enough, considering even the cost of an egg. He referred to that. And he's going to improve upon it. Now, what is the definition of improvement? This is a matter of cost. If you say the amount is not enough, even the cost of an egg, and looking at how much they are being paid. So obviously, you are suggesting to them that you are going to increase the amount they are being paid. And if you cannot give us a percentage, that's fine. I won't push. But I want you to be on record that upon assumption of office, the caterer should expect an increase in the amount being paid as compared to the current payment they are receiving. Just for the record.
Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Member, I think from your answer, the indication is clear that the amount is woefully inadequate and it will be improved. He attests to the fact that sitting there, you will not be able to indicate the percentage improvement. So the answer is already per the record.
Mr. Chairman, just to also add that we have to first pay the caterers, because I know not long ago, last week, they were picketing and demanding their payment. And so the first attention is to make sure you pay them, the caterers, because some of them had to borrow before they engage in such a business. So let's pay them first and sit with them. I don't know the quantum of arrest. We need to know the arrest, the amount of money the government of Ghana owes these caterers. We ascertain it, pay them, make them happy, and then we'll move on.
Mr. Chair, as for this, I know it as a fact. So I will give a voluntary answer. Honorable leader and my respected colleague, government paid all caterers, and I want you to quote me. The last term, it's only this term that is, which has just begun, that government does not owe, that perhaps government owes, because the term would have to end. But I want you to know that I am aware that government paid all outstandings to caterers, the MPP government. at the time of leaving office, had paid every single caterer. Every single caterer was paid. There is no outstanding. And that it is this current term which has just begun, that upon completion, they will send their invoices for validation. So just for the records, that, and I pray that with assurance that there's going to be improvement in the amount being paid. You are saying that you won't use the word increase, but you will use the word improvement. Well, it means the same. So they expect that this current term, God willing, as you take over as a fresh ATO, they are going to enjoy an improved payment. Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, having put that on record, let me go back to the issue of cocoa price per bag. In an earlier response to questions that came from the floor, my respected colleague indicated that, well, the cocoa sector is under the Ministry of Agric, and that if there is any policy realignment, he will look at it. He also indicated that he's a key advocate for cocoa farmers. He did also indicate that he would advocate for the cocoa farmer. Now, the issue is beyond advocacy. You are now the man in charge of the press, and you know the pressure on cocoa farmers. The 6th Ghana cedi per bag that you committed, would it be your benchmark in your advocacy and eventual decision for the cocoa farmer? Because they are listening.
Thank you, Honorable Minority Leader. You may ask another question.
Mr. Chairman, cocoa money does not come to the the consolidated fund. Cocoa money is outside the consolidated fund. It stays with the Ghana Cocoa Board. Ghana Cocoa Board uses this money part to buy cocoa, part to buy fertilizers and other inputs. I don't know what Cocoa Board is leaving behind. I don't know the extent of arrests they are leaving behind. I don't know the extent of debt that the Ghana Cocoa Board is leaving behind. I will not do this committee any good if I sit here and announce cocoa price. But as I've said, I remain a key advocate for the cocoa farmer. I will do so with the best of intention for the cocoa farmer, That I can assure you. But let's get to that the price they are paying the cocoa farmer is inadequate. I maintain that is inadequate.
Thank you.
And there is more room for improvement.
Thank you. Further question?
Chairman, is a nominee conceding that the 6,000 per bag he quoted on the floor of the House was a mere political statement?
Mr. Chairman, the 6,000 Ghana cedi per bag should have been paid in the last crop year. Mr. Chairman, I say this because Cocoa Board is gradually turning themselves into a procurement agent just to procure inputs and denying the cocoa farmer. So they could have adjusted their formula to benefit the cocoa farmer. Very soon, the minister responsible for Agric will be in place. I commit to work with him to give the cocoa farmer a fair price. And I believe the cocoa farmer deserves a fair price. And I know His Excellency the former president quoted me previously that I had said the cocoa farmer deserves 6,100. I'm not running away from that fact. I said it on the floor, and I backed it with the world market price in the city at the time, and still maintain that the cocoa farmer deserves 6,100. I've not run away from that position.
Thank you. You've been consistent in your answer on this. Any further question?
Rightly so, sir. Chairman, the nominee is being vetted as Minister of Finance. I want to ask I want to ask him whether economic planning will be part of his responsibilities.
Thank you very much. Though the instrument is very clear, you may proceed to answer the question.
Mr. Chairman, the instrument said Ministry of Finance. We are aware that the National Development Planning Commission deals with economic planning, but they interface with the Ministry of Finance. Fiscal policy in itself includes economic planning. And so there's an interface and coordination between the Ministry of Finance and the National Development Planning Commission. We will accordingly do so.
Very much. More question.
Chairman, the instrument titled Executive Instrument EI1, Civil Service Instrument 2025, dated the 9th of January 2025, state the following: Ministries of the Civil Service. The following ministries in the civil service are hereby established. A, Ministry of Finance. If you go to the unreferenced letter from the Office of the President, signed by Callistius Mahama, PhD. No, he put Callistius Mahama, PhD. My colleagues like to heckle me. When I give them a small dose, then they'll be crying. Anyway, signed by Callistius Mahama, PhD, Secretary to the President. Which letter? The unreferenced letter, dated the 9th of January 2025, states as follows: in accordance with Article 78(1) of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, 1992, I hereby, on behalf of His Excellency John Mahama, submit for consideration and approval of Parliament the following nominees for ministerial appointment. 1. Dr. Kasiel Atoba Forsen, MP, Minister Designate, Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning. I'm staying a bit longer on this because the instrument is dated 9th. The letter, communication to us, is also dated 9th. Which is which?
Honorable nominee, before you come in, leader, you know that the EI will take precedence over the letter.
Chairman, does that mean that we should put the nominees' vetting on hold and expect the presidency to communicate the correct designation to us? Because what you are saying, which I agree, that the instrument which comes under constitutional provision, Article 11, if we go to Article 11, for the avoidance of doubt, may we go to Article 11 of the Constitution, the hierarchy of laws. Give me your Constitution. No, but they are instruments. No, they don't need to be. 11.7. Any other order or regulation made by a person or authority under the power conferred by this Constitution or any other law shall be, Mr. Chair, I agree therefore that the instrument takes precedence over the letter. If that is so, I believe that the right thing to do will then be that we receive another communication from the presidency stating the correct office you are going to hold. Because that contradiction can only be cured by a letter. In any event, the instrument is not formally before the House. You see, we are concerned because we thought the NDC, having had an experience in government before, was fully prepared for this term. You know, so with 8 quality men and women in charge of governance, we were expecting this to have been done. But I will not hold back your vetting. I am bringing this to attention of Chair to ferry these concerns to the presidency so that we get a new letter. And I pray that that letter comes before we take the report on the floor. That said, let me move to my next question.
Honorable Leader, I pleaded with you that let's concentrate on the substance, but not the form. Before you proceed, I recognize the Chief Whip.
Chairman, I sympathize with the minority leader. He raised this point earlier, and you rightly said, our committee had a pre-sitting meeting. All these issues were taken into consideration, and we came to a conclusion that we will do the vetting today. And I mean, we all commended them for this kindness. So going to bring back this thing and suggesting that somebody should have known something, I think these were the issues we discussed. Otherwise, what is the point of having pre-sitting meetings and then to decide on the path to take? And then in the public, we are making it look as if these issues were not addressed. So I'm pleading with you. You have your right as the leader of the opposition to bring forth your point. But you are taking us back a bit, and unfortunately, the majority of the people watching us did not benefit from the pre-meeting arrangement. So I'm pleading with you once again. I just want to remind you, once again, the shortest vetting we've had in this parliament since I entered was the vetting of Honorable Che Mensah Bonsu, leader of the majority, leader of the House. The shortest. The opposite happening today is the longest. Just that on record again. And you were the one who actually brought this up and reminded us. And you are participating in the longest ever vetting. As for Parliament and Ghana, it will continue to exist. We just hope one day nobody will insist that vetting of another leader should be the shortest.
Mr. Chairman, the shortest vetting we've ever had was with Honorable Alban Suman Akinford Bagbin. Let the records be perused. It's not Che Mensah Bonsu, so you check it. That said, I do not want to believe that Honorable Member Govin Agboja is trying to frustrate the process here. Fortunately, Honorable Roxton Eche Defiamapo is right here with us. We have had him on record, including Honorable Govin Agboja, interrogating phrases used, sentences used, grammar, and paragraphs contained in a letter from Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo to the House. So please, if I'm just clarifying, just for the record, and don't, unduly come in. I beg you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, honorable members. Let's make progress.
So
the point well noted. So proceed.
All right. Thank you very much. Honorable nominee, we assume without any doubt that the president has serious confidence in you, your capacity to help finance his flagship projects, and obviously values your insight and contributions in crafting policy. May you share with us if there is any planning and modeling to guide the development of the 24-hour economy policy.
Mr. Chairman, His Excellency the President has appointed the Honorable Guzitando as the Special Advisor for 24 Hours Economy. His office, prior to his nomination, have worked extensively on a policy, a 24-hour economic policy. In the coming days, we will make those policies public, working with the Ministry of Finance. When approved, we'll work with them to implement the 24-hour economy. But as I've said earlier, I strongly believe that we can increase our GDP or double our GDP with the same capital and the same resources, with the same labor. I think it is up to us to work closely with the Office of the Special Advisor to the President of the 24-hour economy and this House, so that together we can twerk it. Look, let me say that if Ghana succeeds, we all succeed. And so we'll have to work together. I don't have the full details of the work they've done. And as I said, the work didn't just start. They've been working in the last 2 years to develop a program towards this 24-hour economy agenda. No wonder the Honorable Guzitando was nominated to lead it, because he has been leading it since opposition. Thank you.
So, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Next question.
Chairman, so just for the ordinary Ghanaian, what is a 24-hour economy? Just for the ordinary Ghanaian to understand.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
He needs an explanation of 24-hour economy from you.
Mr. Chairman, simple put, a 24-hour economy is an economy where the rare sectors of the economy doesn't sleep. The rare sectors of the economy doesn't sleep. For example, we have a mining sector, don't we? We want to see where the mining sector does not sleep, as against a situation where the mining sector, for example, does 12 hours and go to bed. The benefits of light electricity, they should be able to work 24 hours. And many other sectors. You have the hydrocarbon sector. You have the entire agriculture value chain. It's not just going to farm, but after farm, the produce must go to a warehouse. And you have to, obviously, process it into agribusiness. And so we don't want the value chain to go to sleep. We believe that if implemented properly, we'll be able to increase the workforce. And we've said, just like we have now, can end up employing 3. So 24-hour economy is a structure where we'll end up implementing a 3 shift for the economy and going forward, bring out productivity.
With the explanation of 24-hour economy.
Chairman, stay out of this matter. Honorable nominee, are you suggesting, therefore, that the structure of our economy as it stands now has no such input as 24-hour economy already subsisting?
There's some semblance of 24
Please,
hour.
go ahead with your answer.
Mr. Chairman, I think if you talk about the rest sector, no. You see, the rest sector are the the core sectors of the economy that drives inclusive growth, proper growth, and create jobs. You have health, where hospitals operate 24 hours. You have the police, some police stations, work 24 hours and all, some restaurants and all. But that's not what we are talking about. That's not what we're talking about. We are talking of the real sector, where jobs are created. For example, we have Takrady Port, my birthplace, where I grew up, secondly, Takrady Port. And you have mines, where you used to work, the Awaso area. Going all the way to Yini. With a proper railway line, you can get the Yini mines to produce bauxite within the same 24 hours. As what has been produced, you can haul it to Takrady Port and ship them or process it. The whole process is what we are talking about, 24-hour economy. So it's the rail that we are talking about. Investment in the rail sector, deliberate government policy targeting the rail sector, where you can use the 24-hour economic policy to drive growth. That's what we are talking about, not chop bars. We are not talking of chop bars. We are not talking of pharmacy shop. That's not what we are talking about, rail sector growth.
So are you therefore saying that you've done some costing, and having done some costing, you have an approach in terms of this model? Because from your answer, you are suggesting that you are going to target certain sectors. And if you are targeting these sectors and you really want to fuel economic growth, it means that you need to inject some funding. So let us know what funding arrangement you have in place to back this policy.
Mr. Chairman, President, responsible for 24-hour economy. I know they're almost done, and because the work started 2 years ago when whilst we were in opposition. Today he's in office. He will need to tweak it and present same to Parliament. Obviously, what will be presented to Parliament will come from either the Ministry of Finance together with the Ministry of Trade. So let's wait for that. The President has appointed someone responsible for 24-hour economy. Let's wait for the person to provide us a proper blueprint, then we'll talk about it.
Thank you. Any further question, Leader?
Yes, please.
You have a long way to go.
Chairman, we have a 10 billion public infrastructure investment plan proposed by the NDC. At the same time, the NDC in government seeks to introduce the sinking fund and cap government borrowing. This is a manifesto promise. First, I want to know whether you pledge your support for this manifesto promise. And if so, walk us through the numbers and demonstrate how it fits into the IMF framework for 2025 to 2028.
I subscribe to the tenets of our manifesto because I was part in formulating that manifesto. Mr. Chairman, yes, we promised to set up a sinking fund. It's necessary. It is required. If we had single fund today, I wouldn't be sitting here lamenting that there are debts that will fall due, yet we do not have buffers. We need to establish that sinking fund. We've done it in the past, and we'll do it again. I've said that it is only right for you to save during good times to take off bad times. So we'll save when it's good, and when it's bad, we'll have buffers to be able to deal with the challenges. there's the need for us to cap borrowing. We have to cap borrowing. You can't borrow into an unsustainable pit. We've seen it in the past. Can we continue the same way? Can we continue giving bondholders haircuts? No. You know the consequences of the haircuts that we went through. The banking sector today is limping, and we'll have to borrow to support the banking sector as a result of the haircuts that the country went through, and many others. Pensioners have to suffer. Individual bondholders have to lose their capital, some their medication and all. We need to cap the borrowing. We need to have a plan to cap those borrowings. And so we commit to that. Aside what you mentioned, the 10 billion big push policy, the economy must grow in spite of all of this. Ghana's economy must grow. 10 billion over 4 years gives you 2.5 billion. The outgoing government, the immediate past government, Agenda 111, has left behind 1.5 billion for us to complete Agenda 111. We know all of that. But I can assure you that in spite of the challenges, we have to carefully invest in the rare sector. And you know my biases already. Hydrocarbons, mining, infrastructure, agric and agribusiness, and SMEs. We need to finance these sectors. And the rare sector development is key. So 10 billion US dollars, we can fund it over the medium term, over a 4-year period. And I've said here, the quality of expenditure matters. You have a choice to take 58 million US dollars to build National Cathedral. In the same vein, you have a choice to use 4 times that amount to be able to construct a proper highway between Accra and Kumasi. What would that do for you? It will increase productivity. So it's a matter of the quality of expenditure. We will do it. And we have to do it to move this country forward.
Thank you very much.
Chairman.
Is that the end, or you have more
Chairman,
questions?
I learned something from Dr. Forsen. I'm not an economist. Mine is law, but we are learning. He once said there's a difference between releases and payments. So government will release to controller, and then controller would have to effect the payment. So when the actual, you can talk about actual payment when you are in receipt of your payment. Are you correct? Very well. So I would want to use that to clarify an earlier point that I made from the school feeding secretariat, that government released the entire 72 days owed the caterers to controller. And the actual payment received out of those release letters, the letter that goes to controller, payment received by the caterers was for 42 days. And that the 32 days outstanding is yet to be received by the caterers. So I just wanted that on record. And that becomes your first responsibility, to ensure that the controller complies with the releases. Are you ready to ensure that the controller complies with the releases?
Mr. Chairman, you are aware that...
Well, before coming to answer the question, I thought you said they have fully paid. But now that you are admitting that payment has not been paid and they are agitating...
Chairman, with respect...
I would ask the nominee to respond to your clarification.
No. Chairman, we are politicians, and I understand languages when they are coded to mean something. I've been in this business with you, so wait. I've noted that since it got to my turn, all my questions, you find a way of repeating. We've been doing this. I was playing number 6 when I was on government side, so I understand the game you want. But wait. No. Chairman, I was doing...
Which number am I playing?
I don't know. But It's for you to determine the number you are playing. But let's get back. We all learn. And when you're learning, you don't have to be worried about mistakes. So you learn. I'm saying that government released all outstandings. And through the warrant that government communicated to the controller, it was for the full amount owed the caterers, the 72 days. So government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, at the time of leaving office, released the entire outstanding to be paid. Now, the records have it that as at 31st, had only paid 42 days out of what he was directed to pay, and that we have some days outstanding in releases yet to be paid. Do we have your commitment to ensure that the controller complies with this?
Honorable nominee, your comment.
Mr. Chairman, I keep guiding the committee that let's be careful not to speculate, because we don't have the full picture yet. You may think it's 30-something days left, but you will end up seeing worse. So I urge that let's take our time, get to the ministry, do a proper assessment as to the arrest due, and have a plan to repay. Mr. Chairman, today the government pays 1 cedi 50 pesos for a child to be fed. 1 cedi 50 pesos. Okay, and I've said that it is not enough even to buy egg. I've also said that there are some arrests we need to pay. Let's get to the ministry. And when we get there, we'll work to make sure these caterers are paid first. And then we can look into the future, what we can do for the school feeding.
Thank you very much, Leader.
Chairman, now back to the issue of your 10 billion public infrastructure. I want to know from you, Honorable Nominee, how much of the 10 billion shall be raised in each year, and how will that fit under the debt ceiling manifesto, the debt ceiling in your manifesto, because you are proposing a certain debt ceiling. You are also talking about raising this 10 billion. I want to know how you intend to go about it and how much of same each year. Thank you.
Nominee.
So, Chairman, the policy will be submitted to Parliament for approval. The big push policy will be submitted to Parliament for approval.
Thank you very much.
In it, we'll give you the breakdown, how it's done, how we are going to raise money, and when we are going to start, and how much goes into each year. So the details will be provided to this House.
Thanks. Any further question?
Chairman, the nominee has two major interventions to make to meet a policy initiative of the government. And because you hold the purse, it would squarely come to you. One, the free university tuition for first year. Second, the extra costs to be incurred and the free SHS to cover private schools. So these are two main expenditure lines to look out for. So let me start with the first one. With the free university tuition for first years, I understand the university students are starting their semester 1 now. Are you going to implement it now? The free first year tuition for university students. Are you going to implement it this academic year, which has just begun? And would you factor it in your budget, which you are going to present? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, proceed with the answer.
Mr. Chairman, first, I'm not yet the Minister of Finance. Second, Mr. Chairman, I have to be at the ministry to assess the situation and introduce government policies accordingly. My responsibility as Minister of Finance will include our government flagships. I will do that, not alone, but working with Cabinet. I'm mindful of our manifesto promises, and I should be the one to be able to recommend same to government if we can afford it. And as long as it's in government manifesto and there are timelines to it, I commit to it. I commit to it, and we'll do just that. But let me get to the ministry first, and let's see what we can do.
Thank you.
So, Chair, Honorable Nominee, are you suggesting that you have not considered the costing of this policy, the free tuition for first-year university students?
Chairman, that is very wrong. I've never said that. It doesn't matter the costing. It must fit into a framework. And I have to get into the ministry first. I can't pretend to use this podium to read the national budget. This is not a budget. Let me get there so that I can present the budget to you, and some of these policies will be appropriately.
Thank you very much.
Chairman, I would want a further clarity on this all-important policy. Your manifesto talks about tertiary. Tertiary is not only the universities, but post-secondary institutions that award diplomas, certificates, in my view, are tertiary institutions. So you have nursing training institutions, nursing, you have the colleges of education. Are they all going to be factored in the free first year tuition to avoid discrimination?
Mr. Chairman, I think I've made this point already. I'm not yet in a position to make policy pronouncement on behalf of the government. I'm only a designate, a nominee. And you need to approve me first. Give me the power to be able to make policies and announce to you policies. Mr. Chairman, you may ask the Honorable Minority Leader to file a question so that I can come and answer when I become the minister.
Thank you very much. You have to file a question.
Chairman,
after approval.
No worries at all. But you see, a distinction must be made. There are matters that you need to get to the ministry to enable you have it handy. And those are not the ones I'm asking you. These are policies. And being part of a political party leadership, I know what goes into manifesto pledges. We had hints many months, or if not a year or two ago, that you were leading the economic team of your party. We know. Therefore, you've always known about this policy. It didn't just get into your manifesto. What I want to know from you are facts within your domain, whether colleges of education, colleges of agriculture, colleges of nursing, and other institutions that are tertiary institutions are part of this free first year tuition? That is what I want to know from you, because you know what is tertiary when you were drafting the policy. That's what I want you to tell me, not something that you will get to know upon arriving at the ministry.
Leader, with all due respect, the word tertiary is unambiguous. You are just calling on the nominee to give you an interpretation of tertiary. I think we should give the word tertiary its ordinary meaning, and then we can proceed.
Chairman, thank you very much. I can understand where you are coming from. But you see, we are a political class, and we are dealing with a social intervention deliverables. Those watching us would want clarity, and that is all I seek to do, so that somebody at Legon would not assume that university is university and that he or she will benefit. But somebody at the nursing college in Winneba who is doing a diploma in nursing would think that because they did not explain it, he or she will not benefit. So I know you had the benefit of knowing what tertiary means at the time you were drafting this policy, when you said you would give first year tertiary students free tuition. You pay for them, government will pay. So parents would not need to pay at all. You know, so I just want the clarification.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's unambiguous in our manifesto what we said. I do not seek to reinterpret what is in the manifesto. And it's as clear as possible. In the next budget, if you have any doubt, we can clarify those in the next budget. Thank you.
Fair enough, Chairman, fair enough. So let me come to the next leg of this social intervention, the free SHS. So you have promised that you will extend your advisor to government. Have you planned, do you have a plan as to the number of students in the private secondary schools? And if so, have you looked at the cost?
Mr. Chairman, the number of students in the private school as at yesterday cannot be the same as today. It moves. So whatever target or whatever costing that was done was done with the data as at the time they did assessment. I was not part of the group that did assessment. Today, we are in office. You need to look at the data, the number of people concerned, and how much you are paying. Let's get to office. The president is only 2 weeks, it's less than 2 weeks old, it's 1 week old. Let's get to the office, and then we can start work. There's no minister at post as we speak. And so you need to help the president to constitute his cabinet as soon as possible so that they can advise him for him to come to Parliament to deliver his State of the Nation address. Thank you.
So the private secondary schools that you propose to extend free SHS to is going to include Ghana International School, Lincoln, Association, because all these are private schools, secondary schools. Are you going to include them?
Well, the nominee is capable of answering the question. Other than that, private school is private school.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not aware that Ghana International Lincoln and the text WASI, they don't write WASI. I'm not aware. I'm not aware that Ghana International School goes through West Africa Examination Council. They do GCSEs and A-levels and others. I'm not aware that you can equate Lincoln with a school fees of $30,000 US to Achimota School. I'm not aware of that. The Chairman, let's get to work. And when we get there, we'll present to this House a comprehensive program. So, Chairman, the previous administration was unable to pass the free SHS bill. You are aware of that. And, Chairman, we will regulate this free senior high school policy properly to make it sustainable, so that it becomes part of our nation's development. I think His Excellency the President has made this pronouncement, and so we'll do what we have to do. The Honorable Minority Leader knows me well, that I'm a man of my word, and I can give him that assurance that whatever it takes, we'll come to this House and seek your approval.
Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Is the nominee fully aware that in respect of the promises by his party in the health sector, the party engaged an independent body, which body gave it a minimum cost of 18 billion? Are you aware of this? And do you agree to that? The health sector promises that your party
Mr. Chairman, I'm not aware. The only thing I'm aware of is during the transition, I was told that Agenda 111 would take 1.5 billion US dollars to complete. But I'm not aware of this 18 billion. I don't know.
Are you committed to completing the Agenda 111 with that amount? Are you committed to that?
Mr. Chairman, the immediate past government was in office for 8 years. They announced the Agenda 111 in 2020. We were told they were going to complete it within a year and two. So, Chairman, this is 4 years. They have not been able to complete Agenda 111. We have huge debt awaiting the next government. What we know is that His Excellency the President has committed that he is going to complete all ongoing projects. I'm a servant of the President. I'll be his minister if approved. And so when you approve me as minister, I'll assess the situation. I'll find out what you are leaving behind and be able to advise the President appropriately. By the moment, I'm not in a position to advise him because I do not have the full data of what is the true state of Ghanaian economy.
Thank you.
Chairman, I have the last two for my respected brother and colleague, and I'll call it a day. Leader, your government has indicated that its financing needs will be alleviated from second quarter in 2025 as debt service payment to bondholders resume. Considering that T-bills will not be sustainable to meet the financing needs, tell us what strategies you intend to pursue to meet the high financing needs without jeopardizing debt sustainability.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, financing is a function of the budget. If you throw out a huge deficit, you have to finance it. So you have to throw out the deficit first. We don't intend to throw out an unsustainable financing, where gross financing needs is in a way that if you go to the market, you will not be able to finance and put further pressure on the market. So, as I've said, we'll front load the fiscal consolidation on expenditure base. So let's introduce the budget, and when we introduce the budget, we'll know the financing needs, and we'll make sure that we'll be able to finance our budget. But there are options. We'll work with our development partners. There's World Bank, there's IMF, there is EU and all. So if there's any financing need, aside the market, both domestic and external, we'll be able to tap into the financing, our financial request from the development partners. So these are options that we can do.
Now, as a follow-up on that, I'm quite curious. So how would you, without borrowing. This 10 billion, you had indicated to me earlier that you will present your plan to Parliament, and in that we will know as a house how much you intend to raise each year. Now, you are strategy. Now, how do you intend to still achieve this without borrowing?
Mr. Chairman, I've never said we are not going to borrow. I've said that financing needs are a function of the budget. And it depends on the fiscal deficit you throw out. If you throw out a fiscal deficit of 10% of GDP, you have to finance the 10%. Why are you financing the 10% of your GDP? Are you financing it from debt? And if it's debt, what kind of debt? Is it domestic, T-bills, or long-dated? Is it external or kind of? So I'm saying that your concern will be dealt with the kind of financing we throw out. If we throw out 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, and the market can accommodate it, so be it. So let's look at the options available. But all of this will depend on your financing needs. So for us, fiscal discipline will be the anchor. And we'll be mindful of the market needs and what the market can accommodate.
Thank you.
Chairman.
I thought you said 2 questions.
No, there was a follow-up. Chairman,
so is that the last question?
The nominee has addressed us on some key issues, and I'm happy with his approach thus far. I would want to ask him, he's aware that a key development partner, the IMF, entered into some agreement with us. And in that agreement, they